Good morning, all my spooky people on this spookiest of days. Happy Halloween, everyone, and welcome to Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Do you like my costume? It's kind of like half made right now. I got the furry vest, the gloves, look at the gloves, and this nice masquerade ball kind of mask for a werewolf. Yeah. Um, so just gonna make this a quick one. As you saw in the last video I posted, I'm not gonna be able to finish this by today. Unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit longer just because of my life getting in the way. But yeah, we're on chapter 40, so I'm just gonna pop this up. You guys saw it. This is what it looks like. Um, chapter 40. Elizabeth's impatience to acquaint Jane with what had happened could no longer be overcome, and at length, resolving to suppress every particular in which her sister was concerned, she related to her the next morning the chief of the scene between Mr. Darcy and herself. Jane's astonishment was soon lessened by the strongly sisterly particularity which made any admiration of Elizabeth appear perfectly natural. She was sorry that Mr. Darcy should have delivered his sentiments in a manner so little suited to recommend them, but still more was she grieved to learn that they had resulted in combat and the destruction of Mr. Collins's mantelpiece. His being so sure of the succeeding was wrong, she said, and certainly ought not to have appeared, but consider how much it must increase his disappointment. Indeed, replied Elizabeth, I am heartily sorry for him, but he has other feelings, which will probably soon drive away his regard for me. You do not blame me, however, for refusing him? Blame you? Oh, no. But you blame me for having spoken so warmly of Wickham? No, I do not know that you were wrong in saying what you did. But you will know it, and when I tell you what would happen the very next day. She then spoke of the letter relating the whole of its contents as far as they concerned George Wickham, particularly his treatment of the death stable boy and Miss Darcy. What a stroke was this for poor Jane! She would willingly have gone through the world without believing that so much wickedness existed in the whole race of mankind, as though here collected in one individual. Trust, we can do a lot worse than kick a deaf stable boy. Nor was Darcy's vindication, though grateful to her feelings, capable of consoling her for such discovery. Most earnestly did she labor to prove the probability of error, and seek to clear the one without involving the other. This will not do, said Elizabeth. You never will be able to make both of them good for anything. Take your choice, but you must be satisfied with only one. There is but such a quantity of merit between them, just enough to make one sort of man, and of late it has been shifting about pretty much. For my part, I am inclined to believe it all Darcy's, but you shall do as you choose. It was some time, however, before a smile could be extorted from Jane. I do not know when I have been more shocked by the living, she said. Wickham so very bad, it is almost past belief. And poor Mr. Darcy. Poor dear Lizzie, only consider what he must have suffered. Such a disappointment. And with the knowledge of your ill opinion too, and having beat his sister's governess, it is really too distressing. I'm sure you must feel so. Certainly, but there is one point on which I want your advice. I want to be told whether I ought or ought not to make our acquaintance in general understand Wickham's character. Miss Bennet replied, Surely there can be no occasion for exposing him so dreadfully. What is your opinion? That it ought not to be attempted. Mr. Darcy has not authorized me to make his communication public. On the contrary, every particular relative to his sister was meant to be kept as much as possible to myself. And if I endeavor to undeceive people as the rest of his conduct, who will believe me? The general prejudice against Mr. Darcy is so violent that it would be the death of half the good people in the Meryton to attempt to place him in an amiable light. I am not equal to it. Wickham will soon be gone, and therefore it will not signify to anyone here what he really is. At present, I will say nothing about it. Just take this off. Whew, look at that. What a do. If you like my hair, remember to subscribe. If you like my costume, too, please. And if you just like the spooky season, subscribe. You're quite right. To have his errors made public might force his demand to satisfaction from Mr. Darcy, and when two gentlemen duel, there is seldom a happy result. We must not take him desperate. In the words of our dear master, a caged tiger bites twice as hard. The tumult of Elizabeth's mind was allayed by this conversation. She got rid of the two secrets which had weighed on her for a fortnight, but there was still something lurking behind, of which prudence forbade the disclosure. She dared not relate the other half of Mr. Darcy's letter, nor explain to her sister how sincerely she had been valued by Bingley. Yes, because Mr. Darcy is the reason that Bingley is no longer in love. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Out of nowhere. She was now, on being settled at home, at leisure to observe the real state of her sister's spirits. Jane was not happy. She still cherished a very tender affection for Bingley. Having never even fancied herself in love before, her regard had all the warmth of first attachment, and, from her age and disposition, greater steadiness than most first attachments often boast. And so fervently did she value his remembrance and prefer him to every other man that all her good sense and all her attention to the feelings of her friends were requisite to check the indulgence of those regrets which might have been injurious to her own health and their tranquillity. "Well, Lizzie," said Mrs. Bennet one day, "what is your opinion now of this sad business of Jane's?" "For my part, I am determined never to speak of it again to anybody. I told my sister Philip so the other day. But I cannot find out that Jane saw anything of him in London. Well, he is a very undeserving young man, and I do not suppose there's the least chance in the world of her ever getting to him now. There is no talk of his coming to Netherfield again in the summer, and I have inquired everybody too who is likely to know." All right. "I do not believe he will ever come to Netherfield any more." "Oh, well, it is just as he chooses. Nobody wants him to come. My comfort is, I am sure Jane will die of a broken heart, and then he will be sorry for what he has done." But Elizabeth could not receive comfort from any such expectation. She made no answer. "Well, Lizzie," continued her mother soon afterward, "and so the Collinses live very comfortably, do they? Very well. Well, I only hope it will last. And what sort of table do they keep? Charlotte is an excellent manager, I dare say. If she is as sharp as her mother, she is saving enough. If she is half as sharp as her mother, she is saving enough. There's nothing extravagant in their housekeeping, I dare say. No, nothing at all." Elizabeth couldn't bring herself to tell her mother of poor Charlotte's doom. The poor woman was scarcely able to keep herself together as it was. "I suppose they often talk of having Longbourn when your father is dead. They look upon it as quite their own, I dare say, whenever that happens. It was a subject which they could not mention before me. No, it would be strange if they had, but I make no doubt they often talk about it between themselves. Well, if they can be easy with an estate that is not lawfully their own, so much the better. It should be ashamed of putting an old woman out of her home." And with that, we're on chapter 41. Here's a little picture for you guys of the spoilers of what's about to happen. Looks like a deer. They caught one. Looks like it. Anyways, yeah, this was a quick one. I got a million things to do today. I finished my costume, carved more pumpkins. I gotta go to work. And then apparently the Northern Lights are gonna be out tonight, so I'm gonna check those out. But yeah, I mean, they've been out all weekend, so. Yeah, I guess because this is Halloween, I'm gonna finish it up before the kiddies get here and stuff and carve that last pumpkin. But thank you so much for joining me. Up until now, the spooky day is upon us, finally. I've been waiting so long, and I'm glad that you joined me for this long so far in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Next time, the spooky season will be over. Next time you come and see me again, the spooky season will be over. We'll be in November, my birthday month, so check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun for me. But yeah, remember to subscribe, hit the like buttons, suggest new books in the comments if you like it, and have yourself a wonderfully spooky season. That was more of a vampire than a werewolf, but whatever. Bye.